Hey bros, I'm Frank. This is a video review of the Air Warriors Tyrant. This is not a Nerf blaster, it's an Air Warriors blaster, but it takes the Air Warriors Mega Darts, and it also takes the Nerf Mega Darts with this giant 12-round magazine. Let's get into the review. Included is the blaster itself, the 12-round magazine, and a few Mega Air Warriors darts. Now I'll go over the externals and function in a bit more detail. This blaster is pretty simple, so not too much to go over. Starting up with the front, of course this is not a Nerf blaster, so it doesn't have an in-strike Nerf attachment point. This thing is a top iron sight, which does not really correspond with anything back here because this is a single peg sight. This is too. You can't really use it, but whatever, it looks decent. This guy looks like it could be a pump for an air gun or something, but it's not. It's stationary, but it's just kind of a front handhold, which is pretty comfy. This top yellow piece is the priming handle. This is a spring-powered blaster, of course. To prime the blaster, you pull back on this guy and then push forward, and now you're ready to fire once. Down below is this massive magazine. To get that out, you prime the blaster back and then strike the magazine release, which is right here. The magazine release, along with a lot of other Air Warriors blasters, is centered, so if you're a left-handed shooter and you want to access it with your other hand, it works just the same as a righty. And it just slides right out. Yeah. It's massive, isn't it? It holds 12 Mega Darts, or the 12 Air Warriors Mega Darts. Let's get real, the compatibility stuff is awesome. So yes, it takes Nerf Mega Darts, and that's awesome. Or if you want to downsize your capacity for some terrible reason, you can, cut it in half by getting a Nerf Centurion magazine, shoving it right on in there and firing away. It works just fine. But when you have a 12-round magazine, why would you use a 6-round mag? That's just silly. Although this thing is really massive and a little bit unwieldy, so I can't imagine a full kit with these, like carrying like 10 of these mags. Oh my gosh, the space. But moving back, there are no tactical rails anywhere because it's not a Nerf blaster. Back here is a sling mount. Funny enough, it doesn't really have a front sling mount, so I guess only if you run a 1-point sling you could use that. And then moving down is the grip. It has a pretty basic grip. It's comfortable. It's oversized, so I complain about this stuff a lot, and it's comfortable for an adult or a kid, which is great. And trigger pull is what you should expect from a Springer. No complaints or comments about that. Operating the blaster is very similar to other Spring blasters. You can, load up your magazine with the massive Mega Darts, put that massive thing right on in there, and then, fire away. Yeah, so firing this thing is a total blast. Shooting Mega Darts and the just larger ammo is super fun, generally speaking. Firing it is kind of weird because it's very similar to a Retaliator or any top priming blaster like that, but it's just like 6 times larger than any of those. So it's just a little bit weird without a stock to be priming and shooting like this. But, that's just my opinion. Firing velocity is above average. This is averaging about 81 feet per second on the chronograph. This compares to Nerf Mega Blasters that shoot about 70 to 75 feet per second on the chrono, so this is a little bit faster, and generally speaking, faster is always better if you're a performance-based Nerfer or you just like shooting people, faster than they can shoot you. And let's get real, who doesn't like that? I mean, come on, if you don't, you can just get the F off this channel. No, I'm just kidding, but seriously. So performance is, better than average, or better than, Nerf Mega stuff. And I didn't have any jams or malfunctions worth noting, so yeah, performance is great. Now to my opinion on the Tyrant overall, I definitely like this blaster a whole lot. It's kind of a weird placeholder because it's such a big blaster with such a big magazine, and it just doesn't really fit any role that I'm aware of. It kind of wants to be an SMG by being kind of small, but it's too big to be that, but it's too small to be a primary, and it's too bulky to be anything else, so it's just like, what the F is it? I don't even know. It doesn't have a classification. Although one can make the argument most Mega Blasters are specialty anyways and not really primary worthy because the ammo is just weird and impractical for Nerf wars. I have a personal bias against Nerf Mega Darts because the performance is too similar to Elite and Micro Dart performance to justify the massive space they consume and the difficulty in finding a bunch of these magazines. That being said, if you dig Mega Blasters, this one is definitely worth checking out. The blaster performs well. If you don't even like the blaster, the magazine is worth it for a lot of people because it doubles your capacity over the Centurion magazine, and that is pretty cool. So my overall opinion is definitely really high, and I definitely like that this blaster takes the Nerf Mega, like the Centurion magazine, it takes the Nerf Mega Darts, and this gear can go right into your Nerf blaster, your Nerf Mega Blasters, of course. So that cross compatibility makes it a low risk buy because if you don't like it, you can just take this magazine and use it with your Nerf stuff and leave the blaster behind, or use your Nerf stuff in this blaster. So perhaps a slightly mixed opinion, but hopefully I've given you all the information you need to know whether or not you want to purchase this one. I'll leave a buy link to this blaster in the description box below. That's the review. Thanks for watching. I'm Frank, and as always, stay tactical.